Start recording. Yes. Cool. Putting here in the chat reminder to myself to post video after class ends. They just take so long. They take 30 minutes to upload, and then I forget and like close the window, and then I have to do it again later. So frustrating. Okay, so where we left off last time was getting everybody to get the actual game on their phone, kind of after we finished the core premise, which was simple buy-in or click-in to get some gold for us. Let's see, I got that. There's a fun bug there already. And we can do our delivery system. We got our population system. We got our timer going. All this stuff is pretty much done. And your challenge for the time that we were gone was to tell me bugs that you found. So, anybody got some bugs that they found, or issues, or bothersome nonsense that we ran into by just playing the game and looking at the project?
Your deliveries don't work.
Your deliveries don't work. That's a
As in,
new
you
one.
can't upgrade the delivery time.
So it shouldn't be the delivery time that gets upgraded. It should be the amount per delivery that gets upgraded.
I do feel the delivery time is not concise enough because when it hits zero, there's still that like incremental time where it finally gives us what we're owed, and it just feels wrong to look at.
So it's happening basically like we hit one and then it goes to zero and then it gives it to you is probably what's happening.
Yeah,
S-
it's more
s-
along the lines of like it's one, then it's 0.9, and then 0.98, and then so on and so on until we get paid, which it just feels off because it'll say zero, and then after a little bit of time, we get paid, and then it starts back from five.
Okay. Let's see. Test the delay between delivery and timer. Anything else?
Yes, the gold amount caps out at like 200 what was that? 200 million or billion, I believe. And then
Oh
all of a
shit.
sudden it goes negative.
What?
Yeah. And it drops
Played it
and
for a
it'll
week.
it'll deduct down until it gets to a positive amount and then it goes again. But as soon as it
Amazing.
hits that negative mark, it locks everything to where you cannot
You can't buy shit.
yeah, you can't buy stuff, but you can keep hitting the gain gold our main button, and you can drop it down. I'm like, what the hell?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I
I
had
think it's
like
that Stack Overflow
10,000 peasants, and it was going crazy.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's more amazing that that bug exists or that you let it run to 200 billion.
Well, I mean, I was having fun, so
Yeah, that's good.
I will say though, too, trying to set up the dev mode for an iPhone is a pain.
Yep.
Apparently, it's a lot easier if you have a MacBook, but
yeah.
I do not, and so you have to get like a third-party deal to then access it and open it up for developer mode, and it's a mess. So I really only I only had to keep doing it with my wife's phone.
Yeah, I had some fear about that. And that's why I was like, man, if anybody doesn't have the option for an Android, unfortunately, it's going to be a better experience for you of just testing it on the computer. It's
We get
just
further down the line, I'll try, but I just did for the first app we're working on, and
yeah,
I didn't want
yeah,
to worry about it yet.
didn't want to put holes in the wall trying to figure it out. No off button. What do you mean by off button, Larry?
Oh
Got
yeah,
a
quick.
pause button.
Well,
A pause?
basically, there's no pause. There's no turn the app off. I had to basically turn the phone off to get to turn it off.
Got it. No
Should
quit
be able to
system.
like roll up your bottom bar and then hit the home screen for the home button.
One thing I did find though was I was able to kind of put it on just kind of like a back, like playing in the background, um, and like it stayed on the phone, um, and it did actually pause everything, so it wasn't actually running the numbers anymore.
Right.
But but yeah,
Yeah, that's what I kept doing. And then after about, I don't know, I'd say 6 days, I went to go back and everything restarted. I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
my
So
peasants.
yeah, it's not running persistent data. So to do
Yeah.
persistent data and something like that, we basically need databases and timers and access to time, and the time system needs to be globally defined. Like I don't know if everybody remembered when Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, people were hacking the game by changing the time and date on the Nintendo Switch to force time to go by to collect all of their interest.
I did that on the GameCube.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always been
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So
the
the
only
only way
console
to
I've been
fight
on.
that, yeah, the only way to fight that is a centralized time system that is online, which that's why you'll find games that are like simple idle games like this that require a network connection because it's to prevent cheating so that you'll never have to, or that you'll never be able to go in and mess with your time and stuff. Because what it does is every single time you log back in, it's not stuff that's actually happening in the background while you're gone. Instead, when you load the game up for the first time, it takes a look at the time it was when you logged off and how much you had and how much time is processed, and then it does the math for how much you would have gained within that time frame and then delivers it to you as an here's what you earned offline type thing. And that's how that works. So we won't be able to build persistence correctly. We can do a pseudo persistence where you can change time and things like that and break it. But that's a path for a different concept, which we'll be using called player prefs to actually create save files on your device. Put non persistent data. Anybody else find any actual bugs? Any other issues? Things you wish it had or wish it did?
The blue background switching to flames when we want to burn peasants.
Yeah,
All right,
that's pretty
anything
cool.
non-visual related?
I admit I didn't really understand all the text or whatever, so I didn't really understand the purpose of all that.
Okay, so let's see.
I think it needs to
Clarity.
help.
Clarity,
Needs like help.
how
Yeah.
to play, help, tutorial system.
Hey, so another thing, remember we originally established that there was a resolution issue, and I
Yeah.
think it's every phone is different.
Uh-huh.
So maybe correcting the resolution depending on somebody's phone.
That should be fixed with the fixed APK that I sent out. I don't know if you downloaded that or got to check that out. But if we look over here, so we have the simulator. I can change it to whatever, and it will pretty much look the same regardless.
I see now.
Yeah. So it should pretty much be all right with that. And that was a my fault there, not running canvas material correctly, which we're going to talk about next. But any other issues? Let's see. Next issue we will talk about. All right, well, I got one for you. Our gold says D instead of G. So gold is listed as D instead of G.
Oh, I thought that was Latin.
That was Latin, yeah. Let's see. Okay. So let's see some stuff that we can quickly solve. I'm going to move down. So let's see. Can quickly solve. We can do the quit button. Can't do that. We can't do a strong tutorial system, but we can do a how to play button. Let's see. Gold amount caps out at 200 billion, and then it goes negative. I would like to think that we can quickly solve that, but I don't actually
No,
know how that is happening. So, oh God.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That would be an awesome bug to see. Obviously, we
Yeah.
can change the value so it can
Yeah, we can just
replicate it
manually.
quickly.
Yeah, and then so I think we could fix the delivery incremental problems. And this I would like to, can we test? I would like to do that because I would like to see that happen. I think that's a really cool bug that never thought of.
Yeah,
See,
because I was like, wait, man, what's going on here?
resolution issue. We can move this down. Clear how to play. We listed that. We can do this one. Yeah, listed that one. Listed that one. Move that one. We'll just double check that deliveries are working as intended, which it should be upgrading the amount that comes and not the timer. The time it takes for them to get there should always be 5 seconds. We didn't build the lower or higher delivery timing. We'll just make sure it's working right.
Actually, is there anything that we could do about the fact that like the just the tap for gold basically just becomes meaningless? I can't really think of anything, but I mean,
Yeah, so basically, because once you have so many peasants, there's no reason for you to tap anymore. Um,
That's kind of like all
yeah,
clickers.
that's all
Like
clickers. So our difference is that we're not doing a tap to screen function to do it, and instead there's a physical button. But when we do a tap to screen instead, this button wouldn't exist in the first place, so that it would be resolved simply by changing the design of the game. And the only reason we're not going to do it is because it's going to steer us away from C sharp and take us into Unity specific code. And I'm going to try to lean us away from the Unity specific libraries so that there's less time opening them up to see what's happening in the future. So we're going to focus purely on just C sharp standards and how that code works together, and then hopefully we'll get through all of that and it makes sense and people can write some of their own basic code, and then we can start opening up the Unity specific stuff to be like, okay, so the way that's working is breaking down your C sharp version basically. um,
I put a screenshot of it in the discussions. It's I think it's more like 200 million. I can't
okay,
math, so
I got you. Yeah, I mean it's also all smushed together like a motherfucker there. Did you really get that
yeah,
many peasants? That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah,
every time it went down, I waited, and then when I seen it go positive, I was like, oh screw it, let's
yeah,
just keep doing it. So yeah,
that's amazing.
I was like, all right, that works.
Okay. So we'll take care of these quick bugs real fast, and we'll do some of those other bugs a little bit later because you guys are going to code some things today, hopefully. So let me just open up our player stats. Let me go ahead and pause this. First thing we need to fix off the board is we need to fix this D to be a G. Very simple. Here's our gold. Gold amount is listed as gold amount is listed as G in the wrong spot. So that needs to be a 0. And the value icon identifier needs to be a J. Okay, that fixes that. So that takes care of, can I just bold it? Nothing? Okay. Well, time to introduce you guys to Obsidian. So Obsidian is my new note-taking app pretty much across the board. We're just going to do, let's see, debugging. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. And let's just bring this all over. Bonk, bonk. Oh, look, it even knows it's Markdown. All right, so
That's
we got,
nice.
yeah, it is very nice. Let me see, can I pop this out? Oh, yeah. All right. I would have laughed if we couldn't. Like, oh, found a reason to hate it. All right. Cool. So this should just be Control Shift. No. Control. How do we strike through? Wham! All right, cool. So we got rid of that one. Resolution issue. All right, so let's talk about that. So in our canvas, we have all of our UI components. The canvas system set up right now, so we have our UI scale mode is scale with screen size, which is what we want. So regardless of the screen, it will automatically scale. We have our reference resolution be kind of high, but that should be all right. It's basically HD. And then we have screen match mode. So as the screen changes, we determine how much stretching that we actually do. If you look at it, you can see just how much stretching is actually occurring. And right in the middle is pretty good. You can make it be just width. You can make it be just height. However you want to do it. I like it right in the middle. I found it to be pretty nice across the board. And that takes care of the global stuff. Pretty much everything else you don't have to mess with on the global things. The actual issue was anchoring. So if we go to, oh, could I open that? So here's our resource bar. Our resource bar, if we get rid of this, I'm just going to get that off the scene because we're not looking at that. This is the entire panel for our resources. And here we have it set to stretch from the very top, left and right, to stretch all the way across. Whenever I click this anchor preset, it determines where we do stretching at from the perspective of whatever our full resolution is. And if you click on this, you can see these points right here. These are anchor points. If I change this, you see how I changed that over there? So, but if I change right here, we're saying stretch it. We're saying stretch everything from here's one side to the other. If we do this one, I don't think that one has an anchor. If we said stretch it from the bottom, it should go all the way down here. So it would match. It basically it takes the whole screen and says go end to end and stretch it between those 2 points, regardless of resolution. And then if we have something inside of it, they have their own anchor points, but their anchors are relevant to the space of their parent. So resources has no parent. Sure, Canvas is its parent, but it's the actual UI identity, so it doesn't actually count as a parent. So the top level bar for resources is its own thing, and wherever we place that, we want it to be at the top. We want that bar to fill the whole top row of that entire screen. Anything inside of it, we're adjusting according to where the resource space is. So we're only comparing it to this rectangle here. So my delivery timer, I want it to hang to the far left. My gold, I want to the far right. And my population, I want right in the center. And to do that, I'm just setting it here in the actual anchor. So if I, what's the button? Okay, cool. So we can also, let me put some new stuff on the screen here. So let's do a UI panel. Actually, let's do 100 by 100. Oh, no. 10 by 10. Thanks, I hate it. Let me go ahead and delete that. We'll do an image instead. Yay. All right. So you see these lines? So there's numbers here. We got 322 to 465. This is the position from the center of the screen. We can see the center is right here. So its current anchor is saying to anchor it from the screen. So wherever I move this, those lines are showing me the position from the center because it is currently saying anchor this to the center. So whichever size screen we actually have, let's go back to our simulator. So this is assuming this is the center. And then wherever I change this, let's see, I do an apple. Let's do galaxy. You can see it's starting to get over there to the edge. Let's do iPhone 12. It looks like it's actually staying in a pretty good spot. Let's say we do how can I break this?
Landscape mode.
Right. Oh,
Desktop mode.
yeah. I have to flip it. Let's see what happens. All right, let's put it back at center. Or actually, so here's our anchor here. Let's move it over there. So now its position is going to be relevant to over here. So we're going to say you're going to go right here just for funsies. And let's go to our simulator. Yeah, you can already see that it's not going to hold. Let me do it right at the edge so we can see how much space we have in between. Let's go to our simulator. I'm going to laugh if it's just, there we go. So its space is only relevant to the, like how much. So it's going to be, even if it's right here, it's still 896 by 577. And then if I change this back to, oh, that looks okay over there, how much space is still on it? It is still that 866, 577, I think, or did it move? Let's see. Let's get a perfect number. Let's do, no, let's see, 870, 500. So we're going to always try to stay 870, 500. If we change the simulator, does that also change? It does not. Okay, cool. So its position is only relevant to the far side of the left side. So if this is a skinnier screen and it doesn't have a position of 870 by 500, it's going to go off because this screen doesn't go that far out. This screen maxes out at about right there, the 814. So the only way, if you really for some reason wanted it to stay anchored all the way over here, but you really wanted it right here, its relevance, you would have to go through each resolution and see where it sits. But to fix that instead, so we're like, okay, so this is where I want it positioned. But instead of anchoring it from the left, we're going to anchor it to our right. And by anchoring it to our right, we can now see the actual distance is only negative 80 or whatever. We say, let's see, negative 80. And so now, unless this left side comes all the way over here, it will always be in the right position on the side of the screen. So regardless of how skinny we make it, unless for some reason this goes all the way over here, I wonder if we can mock that. But now you can see it always stays that distance away. Now, if you notice when we went over here, which one was that?
That was the one up.
There we go. So now it's too far here in this corner. So let's look back at our scene. Like, well, if we're anchored right here, what are we anchored actually to? We're actually anchored to the center. So if we,
Right.
yeah, so if we're going to want it up here, we'd want to anchor to the very top right. But no, what we want is we want it to be anchored close to the center. And it doesn't have to be perfectly centered. We just have to keep in mind however much height a screen has is how much room we have to shrink down from the top and the bottom because it's making a reference to anchor itself directly from the center and it's going to move that many points in resolution away from that point. So to this is like its perfect, it's kind of like its version of 0 to 0. But we're like, okay, we're actually going to move away from it a little bit, and then we're going to move a little bit right here. And then now, no matter what we have for resolution, it's still within those bounds. To really determine how far away you can get is purely just going to be based on what your device looks like. So if we still want it to be somewhere about right here, away from this point, away from the center, this far away, we would just have to go through our simulators and find the right spacing. But that's if you're doing individual components like that. And you pretty much never want to do that. You pretty much want to always do nesting for where something is going to be and then build inside that nesting. So we'll use this actual image as an example. Let's say we're going to build our um, how to play guide. And instead of being an image, actually, let me go ahead and kill it. So we're going to do in the canvas. Now we're going to do an actual panel. You see it takes up this whole space. Now, for the guide, what I imagine we would want is like a little question mark maybe right here in this top right, probably underneath the resources for it to kind of hang out over there. And then when we click it, we'll get this panel. So first, let's see if we can get our, I guess we should have kept that image, huh? Well, no, we need a button. So let's see, how to play toggle. And we're going to make it 100 by 100. And its text, it's just going to be a question mark. And the how to play toggle color, we're going to make it decently transparent because it's going to be something that we don't really want to see necessarily. Let me get rid of this panel just so we can see where it's at. All right, and then let's move it. We'll move it like right here. And to me, this is pretty close to a top right. So I'm going to move it to that top right. And I want the anchoring of the actual item itself to also be in the top right so that whenever we move it or stretch it, we're looking at this point right here. So that as things move up and down, instead of looking at my center, I want it to look at right here to know where to attach it to, which should then therefore hopefully keep this much space in between it. And to do that, if we hold the Alt key and if we hold the Shift key, we can see different settings. So if I hold Alt, it's going to automatically move it to the top right, the whole object. But if I hold Shift, it should actually adjust its anchor point to the top right, which it didn't physically move it. Let's just see if it works real quick before we get crazy with it. I actually think I want to turn the text to be white. And I want to take this image and I'm just going to turn it off. And let's take a look at our simulator. And then let's just go through our resolutions a bit, see where it's at. Since we've got rid of the button, it looks a little bit large because we got kind of a large space there. Let's cut it in half. There we go. And now that feels a little bit better. So there's this little button. And when we click that button, regardless of our screen size now, it should stay pretty much right here because it's checking its relativity to this point instead of where it was originally set, which is the center. So now, as long as the screen doesn't cut off right here, it will always be within this gap. And now we're going to do the same thing here with this panel. Turn this panel on. We're going to change the size of the panel. Let's just say it's going to do this. And I'm not necessarily crazily defining it. We're just making something up real quick for the sake of learnings. All right, so now, see how to play. Oh, goodness. How to play panel. So now, any UI elements we put inside this panel are going to be relevant to the position and the resolution size of the panel. So the current panel size, it's kind of a wonky number. So let's just make it perfect and say 380. So it's, if we pretend that this is another screen and its resolution is 80 by 380, and anything we put inside of that, we now need to anchor to the position of this new screen's resolution. So in here, I'm going to put a text. We're going to say header, and I'm not going to set the anchors. We're just going to put stuff on there just to see if we can break it. Yeah, I'm going to set it over here. Yeah, I'm going to break all my rules. Yeah, so have to play the game. All right, and I'm going to make another one. And I'm going to move it. Oh, that didn't work. Control D. Yeah. Let's see. Rules. Let's see. We'll say instructions. Bam. Here is a bunch of information on how to play the game. Click, click, boom. I don't know the rest of the lyrics or what I wrote the rest of them. So let's see. And we'll do that. And we'll do a button to confirm we understand how to play. And that'll just turn it back off. Confirm. Understood. I'll just say the same thing under here. Be consistent. Be consistent. And then we'll move it down to the bottom. Let's make it a little bigger. A wee big fella. Yeah. And let's go back to this panel and change some colors about it. Increase visibility. There we go. Here, maybe we'll do like a, yeah. Let's go to our simulator. Perfect. Here's our how to play the game panel. And let's see what it looks like as we move things around. So it should technically, there we go. So like here it broke because this screen is now smaller and this panel's job is to shrink according to the confines of its position, which the panel is stretching in all directions so that it'll basically stay away from the edges this much, stay away from the edges this much, stay away from the edges this much, regardless of the size of the screen. So if we go up one, you still see it's that much apart, still that much apart, but it has to physically get smaller. But the text on the inside is expecting an available space based on the size of the panel itself. So let's see, if I shrunk this panel, the text isn't able to actually properly shrink. That part, I don't think we could actually necessarily fix. We'll find out in a second. Let's see if we can make the text shrink if the panel got that small. So if we go to our instructions, right now it's at the center. And since it's at the center, it's not actually being told to adjust to any degree. Based on these stretchings and all these anchors, which one do you think we should try to get the text to just fill across the edge down to the bottom of the screen instead of going off the panel's side?
There's the one that does both the sides, right?
There is one that does both sides, yeah. This one, and this one will go left and rights. And there's also just a plain stretch.
So are we trying to extend it when it's smaller, or just try to extend it
If
when
the
it's
panel
larger?
shrinks, we need the words to wrap to the width of the panel instead of to go beyond the panel. Because right now it's only looking at the center position of the panel. So regardless of the width of the panel and the height of the panel, it will automatically move itself outside the panel because it only cares about the center position of the panel.
What are
Would
the
it
other
be
options?
the sorry?
No, you're good. What are the other options for when you hold down Alt
And
and
this is just determines like how we do the stretching. So like here's a left to right, left to right. If I hold Alt, that just means go to corner. And if I hold Shift, that just changes the anchor point internally to the actual uh, object itself. Let's see if I stretch that out. Here, let's do that too. So something else to note. So
take
go
a
ahead.
guess?
Yeah, take a guess.
Well, no, I was asking if someone wanted to take a guess.
Oh. All right.
I
So
was gonna take a guess.
we got rows here. So on the top row, we said this is all options for top anchoring. We have our middle anchoring, our bottom anchoring, and then stretch only. So what we need to adjust first is just the stretching itself. If we want the text to sit here in the center and we want it to stretch to the edges, I've used both keywords of which one we should probably use.
Yeah, so it's the bottom middle, right?
If we want it to stay in the center of the panel and we want it to also stretch to both sides,
Okay, well it's the middle right then, right?
yeah, well, so middle, we're gonna stretch here to these sides. What this should do, and it didn't actually do it. Let me see if I move this. There we go. It's just because that also,
Gross.
yeah, it's disgusting. But the other problem is that we're never supposed to use this yellow gap. So let's see if we can actually make it properly function. Because this yellow gap should only match its actual size. Reset. There we go. So that is actually what it's supposed to look like. So its position is wonky. So let's move it back up here. So if we're like, we want it to sit at the center, but realistically, we might want it to be right underneath the how to play the game. And it moved itself back to center. So we're going to say, let's stretch left and right from the top. We want to watch where the top position is so that we stay underneath this how to play the game. And then let's get a simulator that doesn't. Let's turn this back. Let's go edge. There we go. Let's do our normal. Boom. And let's see where our instructions are. Let's say we want it to stay right here. 2 blocks. We got 1 square, 2 squares. Bam. And now if we adjust our simulator, ooh, let's see, the actual text is still just about 2 squares away, but what's not anchored is our how to play the game header. Where would we want the header to anchor at?
Can you pull up the menu?
Yep,
Would it be the top right?
top right could work, but the text itself is centered, so we probably want our top center. We can actually just go ahead and we can send it up there. So when we hold Alt, we'll actually move the object directly to that position. And once we've moved it to that position, then we move it down from that position so we can see how much space is being used from that anchor. And now it looks a little bit more accurate. Whichever screen size I look into, you can see that the distance between the instructions and the how to play the game stays the same. So now is our understood button. Now it's wonky. So our understood button, where do we want to anchor that?
Off the bottom.
Yep, bottom center. And then we're going to adjust it as well to, it's going to be how much space from the bottom do we read? About right here looks good to me. So then now, regardless of what our screen size is, it should look good. It almost doesn't look good here, which would mean our panel accident actually needs to be changed a little bit to prepare for that resolution, because you can see it almost goes down into that understood button, but it's just enough to pass.
But the
All right. But that's the
so
basics of
the
that. Go ahead.
actual
So,
so the actual size of the text never changes.
yeah, the actual size of the
where
text doesn't change, just its positioning and how much we scale, how much text takes up how much space. If we want to change the text, there is technically an auto sizer, but I don't really like the auto sizer. As long as you keep your font size normal, whatever your resolution is, it's going to be like 12-point font is going to look the same on that screen as it's going to look on other screens, as long as your anchoring and things like that are okay. Okay, we can get that panel to go away for now. Bum, bum. Okay, so how much time do we got left? Perfect. Ah, ah, stop it. And perfect. All right, so now you guys are going to start coding, whether you finish it today or it takes you the rest of this week. So inside the project, we have pretty much everything inside player stats. Do I have it pulled up? Yep, but button code. You guys see the code?
See it on your screen yet?
Yeah, on my screen. Okay, cool. So we have UI controller. Click button doesn't do anything. So if you're in your project, as long as you have a copy of the project, if you don't have a copy of the project still, it should be pinned as a link. You can remove the click button. We're not going to use that one for this portion, but you should still have your UI controller, which controls all of the interacting with the UI itself, and our player stats. And what I want you to do is come up with a new currency, a new thing to spend the gold on, and what it might do. So my example is going to be, I'm going to say, so what do we have so far? So we deliver gold via peasants. We earn gold. We spend the gold to upgrade the peasants and the amount of gold they can bring. But what else can we do with that gold? I'm going to say I am going to spend the gold. Say what?
Blackjack and hookers.
I mean, you could say blackjack and hookers. You can go and put that in there. Be like, okay, so my thing is
Who knows?
I'm going to gamble, and then you don't necessarily have to build a giant gambling machine. You just need to build something that says I'm spending the money on gambling, and here's what it does. And it can either do something to population, do something to delivery. It just needs to do something to the existing set of stats that we have, and you could increase your own. So if we say gambling, for example, actually, let me go back to notes. So if we say that it's gambling, maybe I spend gold to gain a random amount, which could be a negative or positive number times the amount of peasants that I have who could gamble. That could work. And it's just using the structure that is in there. And you're free to take this and use this. I'm going to give you guys another one that you could think about. I'm going to say feed the dragon directly is going to be the one that I was thinking about. So I'm going to spend gold to purchase sheeps, which the dragon will eat to lower his hunger, which is constantly going up over time. This all uses the exact same system that we have in play right now. I can basically take that delivery system and duplicate it to be a hunger system where the hunger goes up. So I can say every 10 seconds, my dragon gets plus 10 hunger, and I'm going to spend gold to purchase animals to feed him. The amount of hunger it removes can be upgraded. Like we're going from sheep, or maybe we're going from rabbits to sheep to fucking, I don't know, horses. And I could feed my dragon directly with this concept. What's something else that we can do with this gold that messes simply with gold going up and down? Could be something to do with the peasants. Any other ideas? You could just ballpark them and I can help you fine tune them and we can put them on this list and you can make your own or you can pick one and we'll go from there.
Peasant party.
A peasant party. What's happening at the peasant party?
Basically, like um, take subtract gold amount,
Uh-huh.
and then just kind of put up a picture, a little confetti or something.
Production.
So, so you
Production
get
goes up for like 3 seconds.
production going up for 3 seconds is a really good one.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So the only thing that you can do the confetti if you want to try to figure out how to do that confetti, but stay within the confines if you can of what we have already used. Right now we
Gotcha.
haven't done any visuals. So since we haven't done any visuals, I'm not going to teach you the particle system that could do this, but I am going to tell you to research particles in 2D for confetti optional. And then so subtract gold, increase production for X amount of time. So we mentioned gambling. I'm going to mention another one. So happiness, we're going to put in the brothel. So we got our blackjack and hookers, right? Hear me out. So we spend gold, and based on the amount of peasants we have is how much we spend to increase the happiness of the peasants. So we introduce a happiness meter or something, or a happiness value, which goes down slowly every delivery by how much gold? This is a lot of math, unfortunately, for this idea, but it would be cool to do it.
So it's like a peasant pizza party.
Yeah, it's the peasant pizza party. Yeah.
I
The pizza
appreciate you
is
guys. Here's
blackjack
some
and
pizza.
hookers. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, which goes down to
My
delivery
lord,
by how
what
much
is this
gold
pizza?
they have to deliver. So the higher your taxes, the less happy they are faster is a concept you can put in there.
Corporation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Welcome to the game of corporation.
We're playing corporate.
All right, so we got some ideas there. Give me two more. What do we got? What can we do to these peasants? What can we do to the delivery system? It doesn't even have to be a dragon anymore. We can remove the dragon from the concept. Maybe we're doing something else with that gold. Maybe we are building corporation. We're trying to build it up to the boss. Maybe there's bills coming in. Maybe there's, like the theme is endless. We have completely open-ended context. We're not restricted to anything. All we gotta do is numbers go up and we spend to lower the number. Is what can we throw into that pile?
A peasant fight.
Okay, peasant fight. How's it work?
You fuck you. Never talk about
Oh.
peasant fight.
Peasant fight.
Peasant fight club.
I like peasant gambling.
Peasant gambling.
Kind of
Yeah.
like a Luigi's Mansion type of deal, where you're so-called mansion at
How's
the
it?
end.
Oh yeah. That's a
How's it
good,
work?
good reference.
I don't know.
You collect treasure throughout your endeavors of Luigi's Mansion, and depending on how much you make at the end of the game, is how good your mansion becomes. So
So
you have different tiers. Like F is really bad, and like S is super good.
okay, so like some way to test how far you've come in your current colony, right? Does that make am I saying it right?
Yeah, kind of like an ending score.
Okay, like an end score.
Whenever you close out the game.
Okay.
So
So
it's like however big of a mansion you bought at the end, it's like, well, there you go. Now you get to retire in it. And
so
it's like it gives you the rank. So it's like a set. So basically um spend, use your gold to go ahead and then buy, investments or what have you in your mansion. And then whenever you close it, that's whenever it then um shows like your rank. And we could set like a certain like a certain amounts give certain ranks. So it's like whatever the player put in during play, once you go to quit, it then reads,
what
what
it
level it's in.
what if you did like a direct, so rather than using like a letter system, we use like a static upgrade system. So like think of it like here's a list of buildings you can buy and you're trying to buy as many of those buildings as you can out of a total amount. I'm trying to think of what's like the easiest route. So like if there's 10 buildings and you bought 8 of those buildings, by the time you close out, then you've got an 80% completion, unless you want to make a list of like your percentages equals a letter. You could do it that way. So equals total amount compare to a letter ranking or percentage. Um,
So
so like
I'm
we'll
sorry you
call it
got
like
that thought. Sorry.
building settlement. We'll say it like that. That way you have something that you're building towards, because we're just endlessly raising the numbers and then spending it. I feel like we need like a physical flag in the ground to be like, I've reached this milestone. And that would be a good way to set a milestone of being like, here's a list of buildings that you can buy that you could also then say those buildings do
What
something.
about peasant retirement?
Explain.
for the duration of your playtime. So say it's like been an hour.
Uh-huh.
Over time, the peasants will then start retiring. Your numbers will start declining, so you have to keep buying into the peasants.
Okay, so like they only last for a certain amount of time. Like they're aging out.
Like an old
Right.
population.
They get sent off to pleasant peasant pastures.
Yeah, but not Peasant Island. There's no islands. No, no islands. Okay. All right. So
No
let's
dragons
see.
here.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking yeah, so peasants, once you get enough gold, instead of peasants, you can start purchasing wizards. They cost 10 times as much, but they produce 10 times as much because they can turn whatever into gold.
Yeah. So
Now we're getting into magic.
yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
There we go. So peasant X amount
Then we need
equals
island.
reach warlock or
Wizard Island,
wizard
everyone.
upgrades instead. Yeah.
Or we could also have basically like a thieves.
You could, yeah, you
Yeah.
could make it all kinds of shit. I wonder how far you could take, like with our current stats, if we were like, okay, you got wizards, thieves, maybe we'll say like merchant, um, 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 um well, let's keep it at that. What could we do with these three types of units that alters the way our current stats work? So wizards, we know they're more expensive, but increased amount of income. Um,
We can do
thief, I feel like would be
thief would
shorter
be like a
delivery
lower
time.
delivery time.
Yeah,
I was
Jinx.
thinking thieves are taking our gold.
Thieves. Oh, but why would you buy them
And
though? What if it's something that
yeah.
just happens? What if it's a random event?
I wasn't
And that's where
saying
the
buying
wizard.
How
thieves. I
about
was saying
the
like we
thieves
have
steal
to.
from your peasants?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's see, short delivery time or random negative event. Little bitches. Merchant. Maybe a merchant is something that is also another random event. So randomly get a merchant that has a large quantity of something to purchase. Or maybe the merchant leaves with your gold to turn it into more gold after a much longer period as a one-time transaction. So like you're buying a trade route. That could be cool. Okay, that's all right. That's plenty of that. So this is kind of the idea, right? So we're like just coming up with random concepts, and now your goal is going to be trying to implement it. So
Yeah.
to go ahead. Was that just a
Oh
groan,
no,
or did
sorry,
you
I
have
was
something?
laughing at somebody's
Oh,
comment.
okay. All right, cool. So all of the ways that you should be able to do these things exist in here in your player stats and in your UI controller and in the game itself. It should all be done in some way where all you should really have to do is copy code from one area, rename it, and paste it somewhere else. So what you're going to do is in the game, all you're going to do is create um, just a new script. You can create it in scripts because I'm never gonna take this project from you, so that we're not gonna have any kind of GitHub clashing. So you can just create a new script and just call it really anything. You can call it whatever that function is that you're gonna use. So if I say I'm gonna do the where is it in my brain? All right, so I'm just gonna do a script, and maybe I will do dragon hunger, because that's the one that I want to do. Is I want to make it where my dragon is getting hungry every so often, and I'm just going to use the code that I have here to give myself the example of how to build out a slowly increasing number over time of hunger, and then I'm going to slowly reduce that number by spending gold on it. The only thing that you're going to have to remember how to do is to get a reference of your scripts. And just to give you a reminder of that, let me go ahead and open up Dragon Hunger. To anybody remember how to get a reference of another script? So if I want to know how much gold I have in my Dragon Hunger bar, how would I do that?
That's a good question. I do not remember.
So all we're going to do is we're going to make a public reference specifically to the name of the script. And it's going to be that the name of that script is the data type. So it's in their player stats, and then we're going to call it player stats. So now at any time I
Oh,
can
wait, you're not
reference.
streaming the other screen.
Oh, it's not?
No.
You don't see the code right now?
Now we do.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway. So all we got to do is make a reference to that so that we can get access to all the data of player stats. And then inside your new script, you're going to build out um, spending gold or spending peasants or replicating your time management system for anything else. You're basically just adding another currency system to this game to make it more interesting. And it could be anything that you want to think of. You can use any of these samples, and that's all you got to do. You can start right now. So if you get stuck, you can ask me questions until 8 o'clock, or you can wait till this is over. But that's all we're doing for the remainder of this time. If you don't want to do it right now, you're free to leave class and brainstorm on it and come back next week with an idea. If you're going to stick around and try doing it while everybody's here and ask questions as you go, you're free to just pull up the project, turn on screen share, and start coming up with an idea. And we can go from there. Any questions about that?
No, I think if anything for myself, I might dip off early, but I will definitely hit you up and let you know if I need help.
Cool. All right, go ahead and head on out. Is anybody sticking
I think
around to build their thing?
I'll stay around, but I think I forgot to update.
Oh, speaking of that, Ryan.
Yeah.
When the update for the APK, I dragged and dropped it into Unity, and the G was already corrected for gold. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Is
just
that the older?
no. I mean, that's fine. So you used the fixed UI Fantasy Clicker Unity package, and not the APK, because the APK is like the actual mobile file. I also may have fixed it while messing with stuff, because I technically have two projects of it now, but that's not
Okay.
relevant. So yeah, I may have also fixed that G.
Makes sense.
Cool. All right. So I am going to build mine, but I'm not going to talk through it. So you're free to look at it for references or to get ideas. I'm going to start building out mine.
Wait, actually, where is the project?
It should be under announcements in Discord. I can forward
Oh
it to
right.
you.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Uh, hidden there.
Okay.
Since
Let's see.
that's the fixed one, we import it into Unity or something.
Yeah, so the fixed underscore UI underscore fantasy clicker dot unity package. Um, I'm retagging everybody in it. So that
Yes,
package,
but
Yeah, the fixed one will only update what needs to be updated when you import it in.
yeah.
import it in. Okay. I'm gonna have to start doing this on a faster computer.
No worries.
I have a much nicer computer, but I don't know. I guess I need to start using it.
So it's new project, right?
You shouldn't have to create a new project if you've already opened this up before. If you've opened this up before, you can simply go to that existing project and then import this one into it, and it will show you which things it's going to change.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen because I can't find the project.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, there we go. Now it's changed from D to G, or G to D.
Okay, watching your stream. Ding-a-doom-doom.
How's the D?
So there's your Unity package. Yeah. Okay. And then Unity Hub. And then projects. Okay, it just looks like you never turned one on. So that's fine. Go ahead and do a new project.
Was it because I didn't save it?
I have no idea. And then that's the
Because
right
I think about it,
version.
I saved it.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure why it's not there if it's something that you turned on before, but you want to do universal 2D. Yep. And then you're good. Weird. It's on your thing now. It's listed as my project. Might want to rename it so you know what it is later. But you should be able to just import that fixed version. You should be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I think I didn't save it.
Okay. So let's see.
I played quite a few incremental games, I guess is what they call them, over the years, and probably my favorite is one called Space Plan, which you can play in browser or Steam or whatever. But what I found interesting about it is it lasts 15, 20 hours and then it's over. It's not one of those infinite games. There's like essentially a basic story, and you get to the point where you know see an ending, as opposed to if you ever played like
Usually it's called a NGU, which is a number go up, and that's usually the infinite one.
there's one called like Advantage or Adventure or something.
Adventure. If I can spell.
Add ad adventure as in like a business venture. That's a deep one. That's
I like the
an
fun.
infinite one. Adventure Capitalist. Have you played that for years on
Adventure
iPad?
Capitalist. I played that one. There's a
Yeah, that
phone
one's
one.
pretty good.
Yeah, that one goes on forever. But although you upgrade Earth and then so many different planets,
Yeah.
and then they have, but they fix their ending problem by creating temporary island or temporary levels and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, that's the other thing is we can literally like since we have this one loop of purchase, upgrade, spend, you can replicate it infinitely for as many different skills as you want. So like if you're instead of peasants, it's like here's how many peasants I have. Well, here's how many warlocks I have on top of that. How many XYZ I have on top of that. And you could just change scenes between each area. So it's like maybe you started with trying to please a goblin and then get all the way up to pleasing a
Mm.
dragon. I'm in the bathroom.
Or
One
yeah,
second.
bigger and bigger dragons or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Please
You know, that, like you're funding a war. Oh, this is doing this thing. I want to get some coffee.
So yeah, I just imported in, and it picked up that it was previously called Live Scene, and here are the updates to it, and then I guess it's fixed now.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear.
To prepare for doing it on our own, you said create a new script.
Yep, create a new script and call it whatever it is that you're going to create. So if you're doing the gambling, call it, whatever that system is going to be called is what you're going to call it. And you're going to use references of player stats of how that is actually going to work.
Wait, why does it not do anything? Oh, there you go.
Make sure you're
Oh, I'm
in
so
live
close.
scene and not sample scene. If
Sure.
sample scene exists, anyway, might not.
I thought you said something about we're removing a button or something. Okay, but never mind. Just we're adding on top of what's already been built.
Yep, we're just adding on top of it, creating our own system to add to what is happening in this small populated peasant world.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome.
Okay, yeah, and then if I remember right, the errors was something to be expected and just dismissed forever, right?
Yeah. And then just also just make sure you go to file and build as Android, or just switch platform. Sorry, click Android and then hit switch platform. And then you should have a scenes folder in your assets. Make sure you go to live scene once that's done.
and then that's where I drop this.
That's where you drop what? Oh, the project.
Yep, yep.
Yep. You won't have live scenes if you didn't drop the project already. When you drop the project, you'll get the live scene. Okay. Sorry, I keep looking. All right. Screens at time plus earnings time. The total hunger increase. Ugh. We can call that here. It's only happening here. Let's see, equals. Okay.
And it's into the scenes, right?
Did you drag and drop it in yet?
Not yet. But if I
Okay.
remember right, there's a certain spot to drag it into, right?
So you just need to drag it into the
Drag it
assets, and that's all you got to do. Just right there. Any empty white spot, perfect. And then import all of that. I actually need to change something about how we're doing this challenge because I spoke ahead of myself. I actually don't want y'all to work on it outside of class. So whatever you don't get done today, when we meet up next week, we're going to continue to do until everybody has completed a challenge. So then when it gets down to just a handful of people, everybody who's already done their challenge can assist the other people. So let me note that here. Um,
I'm having a huge. Let me share my screen. So you got here share screen. Okay. Ryan.
yep.
So I'm stupid. So how do I see this on the scene? How do I see the game screen?
Um,
Very basic question. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So what you're looking at right now is the
Camera.
actual scene. So zoom out on the scene, zoom all the way out, keep going, keep going,
Oh.
keep going, keep going. There it is. And the reason
Oh.
that's happening is our entire game is UI. So that's the canvas. The canvas UI is actually external of the game scene itself. So in the scene, you have to actually zoom all the way out to find the thingamabob to find the game.
Okay.
Yeah, click around with it, get familiar. You can change stuff, like play with it a little bit. You can't break it. If you do break it, you just re-import, don't save. Or Control Z to undo any changes.
Crap. Where was the script on the option here again to create?
1 second. So you're just gonna right click the scripts folder. 1 sec. And then create scripting down. Oh, well, that works too. No, that works. Now you just give it a name right there. See where it's blue? Now you just start typing a name. Um, you'll want to get rid of spaces, I think.
Oh right, that's still I still catch
Well,
myself
I
doing
think
that.
it's okay. I think it's gonna work. You just got to change. Go ahead and just for standards, change the pace. Change the spacing. The
I
class
agree.
did itself right because if you look, public class peasant pizza party is all one word. But for consistency, good lord, can I speak? No, I can't. All right. And then if I let's see, can I actually? No, that doesn't work. That's funny.
Kind of finding it kind of hard to build um, a new script, which kind of it really just builds on top of pop management with the wizard thing. Um, I guess it works. It's public classes and stuff.
So yeah, so I mean, you would just you would basically just you're creating a new unit. So if you think about the resources that you have at the top, you have your delivery, your population, and your gold. Um, think of it like you're going to create another resource bar below it that is going to manage what's happening with your wizards.
Mhm.
So you're purchasing them separately, and they can only become accessible when you reach X amount of peasants. So you would basically be monitoring how much your population currently is in order to unlock that new resource.
Yeah, yeah. I'll probably base it on amount. Maybe I'll make it really expensive
Yeah,
so it's kind of an upgrade you would get.
yeah,
Everything goes so quickly, but something you would get in 3 or 4 minutes, I guess, as opposed to like 30 seconds.
there you go. I'm trying to figure out how to create a nice clean fill bar, and I can't come up with a good idea. So I'm gonna have to use a slider, which I didn't want to do. Anchor.
So what are the population delivery timer and gold parents? What are those again? Are those a canvas?
You sound real far away. Couldn't hear you
Uh,
entirely.
is the population delivery and gold parent? What are they again? Are they an image or a canvas?
The UI stuff for them.
Yeah, like the actual parent thing.
So there's canvas, and then underneath canvas is resources. Inside resources is your delivery timer, population, and gold.
Yeah, what is the population delivering gold? Is that canvas, right? Like the fuck, I don't know how to.
If you open up
What,
canvas,
what kind of UI is it? Is it
oh,
image?
what kind of
Yeah,
UI?
yeah.
So it's not any singular thing. So like resources is a panel, and inside that panel is delivery timer. Delivery timer, if you open that prefab up, you can see all
Yeah,
the
it's got
different
value
stuff.
icon, delivery
Yeah,
timer mode.
so it's literally just either like a button if you click, so like value icon, if you click on it, you look at the components inside the inspector, that's what it's made of. So the value icon is just an image, and then the delivery amount is just the text. And the value icon also has inside of it a text object. So it's an image with the text on it. So we're just putting the little tiny UI components together to build that out. So it's panels, text, and images combined into a single object.
Okay.
And you can
And
break apart that object by clicking on it, and there's a little forward arrow to the right, and you can click on that to open it all up individually to kind of see how it all works separately. And then your script, so like mine's Dragon Hunger, I'm just attaching it to the game manager object right underneath player stats.
okay. tried to duplicate one of the values I talked about earlier, and it's got this weird aspect ratio, and it didn't copy it entirely. Switch this to my main computer. So,
If you need help, share your screen.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go to my laptop for that. Give me a
Okay.
second.
Well, sounds good. I'll see y'all next week.
All right. See you next week.
Oh yeah, that's right. And we don't even need a void start.
Unless you need to claim something to happen right at the start. No, you don't need a void start right at the beginning.
Which I think with everything that we're doing, we don't. Because my idea was I'm doing, it's kind of like a mix between the hunger deal and then also some of the other stuff. But I'm doing the peasant pizza party, so it's just there's a timer and whenever the timer goes down, either you pay to reset the timer or you are paying into a fund, a pizza party fund that once the timer goes down, it will take from that, and
Okay.
if not, it'll take from your peasants. Basically, your
Yeah.
peasants will leave.
Hmm.
So I'm
Okay.
one of those two. I'm not entirely sure which one of those to do just yet. I mean, the reset would be easier, but it might be kind of fun just to try and attempt the fun type of deal, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Do the one that seems fun. Right. I'm gonna stop the stream here. That way that continues.